Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're looking at AI agents,
Oh, very cool.
but not just like the chatbots everybody's, you know, been playing around with for the last year or two.
Right.
We're talking about AI that can actually go out and do stuff in the real world,
Yes.
like, actually like buy things for you or book
Yes.
travel.
Make decisions.
Yeah, and make decisions.
Like taking insurance or finding schools for your kids.
Right, like that would be amazing.
It's really a fascinating frontier.
Yeah, it is. But what happens if, if those AI mess up?
Yeah.
Or what if somebody uses those AI for something bad? Like we're talking about AI making choices
Yeah.
that affect our lives.
Right.
So then, like, who's responsible when things go wrong?
This is the crucial question, and this is where agent infrastructure comes in.
Okay, so not the AI's like brain, but more like the rules of the road so it doesn't cause a digital pileup.
Think of it like this. The internet wouldn't be what it is today without things like HTTPS to secure our information. Agent infrastructure is just as vital for a future where we can trust AI agents to make good decisions.
Okay.
And the sources we've got today lay out three core functions: attribution, interaction, and response.
Bring it down for me. Attribution first.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like figuring out who to blame when AI screws up.
Precisely, the research calls it identity binding.
Okay.
It's like a digital license plate for each agent, linking it back to a real person or an organization.
Okay.
Without it, it'd be chaos. Imagine trying to hold someone accountable for a hit and run
Right.
if cars didn't have license plates.
Oh, so it's like a digital hit and run.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then doesn't that raise like privacy concerns?
Yes.
Like if my AI is linked to me, couldn't just anybody track what it's doing,
Yeah.
even if I didn't want them to?
Yeah, you hit a key point. One of the sources argues that even with limited access, this involves personal data.
Yeah.
So the risk of misuse or unauthorized access is a valid concern. They even talk about some potential solutions like leveraging existing digital wallets
Oh, interesting.
to tie agents to real identities without building completely new systems from scratch.
So use what we've got, but just, adapt it to AI.
Exactly.
That's pretty clever.
Huh.
But what about hackers? Could they just like steal those digital license plates?
That's another risk highlighted in the research, the potential for these identity systems to be hacked,
Yeah.
leading to information leaks or even someone's identity being exposed because of what their AI did.
Yeah, that's scary.
So security is going to be paramount.
And I mean, let's be real. What's to stop like a government from using this to track people based on their AI's actions?
Absolutely. That's a concern that the sources bring up.
It sounds a little dystopian.
It is. They point out the potential for this kind of tracking to be used for surveillance
Right.
or even to suppress dissent with people targeted based on what their AI does.
Wow.
We need to be very careful about who has access to this information and how it's used.
Okay, so identity binding is important, but tricky. What's the next piece of this attribution puzzle?
So think of it like a trust badge for AI agents.
Okay.
The research calls it certification, verifying what an agent can do,
Okay.
its limitations, and how safe it is. Kind of like how websites use SSL certificates to show that they're secure.
Okay, so you can just see at a glance if this is an AI you can trust.
Exactly.
All right.
And these certificates could get really specific. For instance, they could list the tools an agent can use.
Right.
Some make it more reliable, others riskier.
Right.
Or reveal how powerful it is preventing weaker AIs from being manipulated by stronger ones.
Okay.
It's all about transparency.
So like you could have an AI certified to like book a flight,
Yeah.
but not to like manage your investments.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But who is actually doing the certifying? Is it just the companies that make these AIs?
That's a great question.
Because that sounds like a fox guarding the henhouse situation.
One source argues exactly that.
Yeah.
They suggest we need independent third-party auditors to evaluate these AIs and issue the certificates. I like that.
That way, it's not just the company saying, hey, trust us, our AI is great.
Right, exactly. Someone neutral.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. But AI is always learning and changing, right?
Right.
So do these certificates expire really quickly?
You're sharp. That's a challenge, the research points out.
Yeah,
How do you certify something that's constantly evolving?
right.
They suggest dynamic certification, where the certificate can be revoked or updated as the AI changes.
So constant checkups for our AI buddies.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense. What's the final piece of this attribution puzzle?
It's all about having a unique identifier for each AI agent,
Oh, okay.
what the research calls agent IDs. Think of it like a digital fingerprint allowing us to track its actions and interactions.
So like we're giving it a digital rap sheet before it even does anything wrong. It's a little Big Brother-ish, isn't it?
It might seem that way at first, but one of the sources gives a really compelling example.
Okay.
Imagine an AI causing harm across multiple platforms, like buying something on one site, using info stolen from another.
Right. With an agent ID, you can track it all back.
Yeah.
See exactly what happened and figure out who's ultimately responsible.
Yeah.
It's about accountability, not constant surveillance.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that would be crucial for like investigating incidents if they did happen.
Exactly.
But wouldn't this make the agents themselves targets? Like, if somebody knows their ID, couldn't they attack them?
Absolutely. The sources highlight the security risks associated with these IDs.
Yeah.
They need to be designed in a way that prevents them from being stolen or used to target the AI or its users.
Right.
So we're talking strong encryption and robust security measures here.
Okay. So attribution, it sounds like, is all about establishing a clear link between this AI agent and the real world.
Yes.
Like creating a digital paper trail for everything it does.
Precisely.
Okay. But how do we actually control how these AI agents behave? I feel like we're missing a key ingredient here.
And that's where the next pillar comes in. Interaction. This is all about shaping how agents engage with the world around them, setting boundaries, rules of engagement,
Okay.
ready to dive in.
Absolutely hit me with it.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of AI agent infrastructure.
All right. So let's pick up where we left off last time.
Yeah.
We're just about to talk about interaction.
Yes.
So like, how do we actually control what these AIs are doing out there?
That's right. Last time we talked about the whole idea of attribution.
Right.
Making sure every AI agent has its own digital identity.
Yeah, like a digital license plate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now we're getting into how do we set boundaries for those actions,
Right.
define the rules of the road for AI.
I'm all ears.
All right. So the sources we've got suggest some really interesting approaches.
Okay.
One that I thought was really interesting was the idea of agent channels.
Okay.
Like dedicated pathways for AI agent traffic,
Yep.
separate it from the general internet.
Oh, so instead of everybody driving on the same highway, we're giving self-driving cars their own special lanes.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Okay.
The idea is to create separate spaces where AI agents can operate,
Right.
makes it easier to monitor their activity,
Right.
prevent problems from spreading, and enforce rules that are specific to AI.
Okay.
One source even suggests reserving a whole block of IP addresses just for AI agents,
Wow. So a whole separate internet just for AI?
potentially.
That's a pretty radical idea.
It is.
But then how do you even get all the AIs to use these channels?
Mm-hmm.
Like, wouldn't some of them just try to sneak onto the regular internet and avoid the rules?
Well, one of the sources suggests that instead of trying to force AI agents to use these channels,
right.
you incentivize them.
Okay.
Make it more efficient to use them. Maybe they have access to special resources that aren't available on the open internet.
Right.
Give them a reason to stay in their lane, so to speak.
Okay. So it's like a VIP club for the AIs that are following the rules.
Exactly.
I like it.
So even with these channels, though, how do we make sure that that things don't go haywire? We need some kind of safety net, right?
Exactly.
And that's where the concept of oversight layers comes in.
Okay.
Think of these as safeguards that allow us to monitor and intervene in an AI agent's actions
Okay.
to prevent it from doing something harmful, either accidentally or intentionally.
So like, it's like a watchful guardian angel for each AI,
Mm-hmm.
but who's playing that role? Like,
Yeah.
is there a human that's constantly watching over its shoulder?
It could be a human in the loop,
Explain.
especially for high-stakes situations.
Right.
But the research also points to the potential of using trusted automated systems for oversight.
Oh, okay.
These could be trained to flag suspicious activities,
Okay.
require user approval for certain actions,
Right.
or even reverse actions taken by the agent if necessary.
Oh, so it's like the AI is about to do something and then a red alert pops up like, hold on, do you really want to do this?
You got it. One source even gives a more concrete example. Imagine your AI agent is accidentally trying to sell your house for a ridiculously low price.
Right.
An oversight layer could step in,
Yeah.
prevent that transaction from going through.
Oh, that would be really helpful in that situation.
Yeah.
Wouldn't all this oversight slow things down, though? I mean, part of the appeal of AI is its speed, right?
Well, it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
One of the sources argues that we need to find the right balance between speed and oversight.
Okay.
And they suggest different levels of intervention depending on the task.
Okay.
Simple, low-risk tasks might only need basic monitoring,
Right.
while complex or high-risk actions would require more stringent oversight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't need a bodyguard to follow you to the grocery store,
Right.
but you might want one if you're carrying a briefcase full of diamonds.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, so far, we've talked about AI agents interacting with the world,
Right.
us humans keeping an eye on them.
Right.
But what about AIs interacting with each other? That's where things get really interesting.
Now we're talking. AI forming their own little societies.
Yay.
Making deals.
Yes.
Starting wars, maybe.
Hold your horses. It might not be quite that dramatic,
Okay.
but the research delves into this fascinating realm of inter-agent communication.
Okay.
And this raises all sorts of new challenges.
Well, like what? I mean, they're just computers talking to each other, right?
Well, for starters,
Yeah.
they can't just use our human communication systems like email or
Okay.
messaging apps. Those are designed for our messy, emotional way of communicating.
Right.
AI needs something much more precise,
Okay.
more logical.
So are we talking about creating a whole new language for AI to use?
One source suggests that we'll need specialized communication protocols that go beyond human language.
Wow.
Think of it like the SWIFT network used for international financial transactions.
Right.
Dedicated system designed for secure and efficient communication between banks.
Okay.
We need something similar for AI agents to communicate with each other,
Right.
share information, and even negotiate terms.
Negotiate. What would AI even negotiate about?
Well, imagine two AI agents working together on a complex task,
Good.
like designing a new building.
Right.
They need to agree on the best approach, share resources,
Yeah.
make sure they're both working toward the same goal.
Right.
Or think about AI agents representing different companies,
Right.
negotiating the terms of a business deal.
I never even thought about AI as negotiators.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, that's interesting. But couldn't this also create new risks? Like, what's stopping a malicious AI from spreading misinformation?
That's a concern the research highlights.
Yeah.
Just like with any communication system, security is paramount.
Right.
We would need safeguards to prevent spam,
Yeah.
filter out malicious actors,
Right.
and ensure the integrity of the information being exchanged.
Okay, so it's like creating a whole new internet, but for AI with its own rules and security measures.
Exactly, a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
But essential if we want AI agents to collaborate effectively and safely,
Mm-hmm.
and to truly unlock the potential of this inter-agent communication.
Right.
We need one final piece of the puzzle: commitment devices.
Commitment devices, what is that?
So think of it like real-world contracts or escrow payments.
Yep.
They provide a way to guarantee that certain actions will be taken,
Okay.
build trust, facilitate cooperation.
Okay.
One source even compares it to Kickstarter campaigns,
Oh, yeah.
where people pledge money only if enough others commit to the project.
Right.
It's about creating a system where actions have consequences, even in the digital world.
Yeah. Okay, I see where that could be useful.
Yes.
But how would that work for AI? Like, would they sign digital contracts with each other?
It could be as simple as that.
Wow.
The research explores different approaches.
Okay.
Some involve linking these commitment devices to our existing legal systems,
Right.
while others suggest creating entirely new systems specific to AI interaction.
Okay.
But the key is that these devices provide a way to make commitments credible, even when you're dealing with autonomous AI agents.
So if an AI makes a promise, it's actually going to follow through.
Exactly. It creates accountability, discourages bad behavior,
Right.
fosters a more trustworthy environment for AI interaction.
Right.
It could even be used to tackle problems like the tragedy of the commons,
Oh,
where individual agents might overuse shared resources.
Wow. So they can actually like cooperate to solve problems.
That's the hope. But as with any powerful tool,
Yeah.
there are potential downsides.
Right.
One source raises the concern that an AI agent, following its programming too rigidly,
Right.
might make a commitment that actually harms its user.
Yeah, that's true.
So we need to be careful about how these devices are implemented.
Right.
Make sure that they're aligned with human values.
Okay, so it sounds like building this this interaction framework for these AI agents is pretty complicated.
Like a massive undertaking.
Yeah, we've got like these separate channels for them to communicate on,
Yes.
layers of oversight to keep them in check, a whole new language for them to talk to each other,
Potentially, yes.
and even ways to make them keep their promises.
Exactly.
It's like we're building a whole society, but for digital beings.
You got it.
But even with all these safeguards, things can still go wrong, right?
Absolutely. And that's why the final pillar response is so crucial.
Okay.
It's about having the tools and strategies to deal with problems when they inevitably arise, even in the most carefully constructed AI ecosystem.
Okay, so let's talk damage control.
Yes.
What do we do when our little AI helpers make a mess?
All right, let's delve into the world of incident reporting and rollback mechanisms.
Okay.
These are our tools for responding to AI mishaps.
Lead the way.
Ah.
Okay, welcome back to the show.
Yes.
So, I feel like we've built an entire digital city for these AI agents at this point.
Right.
You know, they've got their own separate neighborhoods, traffic laws, a way for them to make and keep promises.
Exactly.
But even with all that, things can still go wrong. Right.
Absolutely. No system is perfect, and AI agents are no exception.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why this final pillar response is so crucial.
Okay.
It's about being prepared to handle problems when they arise, even in a carefully designed AI ecosystem.
So let's talk damage control.
Yes.
What do we do when our little AI helpers make a mess, whether accidentally or on purpose?
Well, the sources we've been diving into highlight two key approaches: incident reporting systems and rollback mechanisms.
Okay.
These are our tools for responding to AI mishaps and making sure that they don't turn into full-blown disasters.
Okay, so incident reporting first.
Yes.
I'm picturing something like a report a bug button you see in software, but for AI gone rogue.
It's similar, but on a much larger scale.
Okay.
These systems would be designed to collect information on any event involving AI agents
Right.
that could lead to harm, even near misses.
Oh, so we're not just talking about when the AI accidentally launches the nukes or something. We're talking about those smaller incidents, like the oops, almost messed up moments.
Exactly. Even seemingly minor incidents can provide valuable insights into where the system might be vulnerable.
Right. Okay.
One source gives a really interesting example.
Okay.
Imagine your AI agent is making a series of trades in the stock market.
Okay.
And almost triggers a massive sell-off due to a faulty algorithm.
Oh, wow.
That's a near miss
Right.
that we would want to capture and analyze, even if no real harm was done.
Yeah, I could see how that kind of data would be really helpful in preventing bigger problems down the line.
Exactly.
But who would actually be contributing to these incident reports? Is it just the developers who made the AI?
The research suggests a much broader approach.
Yep.
They envision a system where users, the people interacting with the AI, could submit reports if they notice something strange.
Okay.
Even the counterparties involved in an AI transaction could flag potential issues.
Hold on, wait. Are you saying that other AI agents could submit reports too?
Potentially, yes.
So if one AI sees another AI doing something shady, it can blow the whistle. That's wild.
It's like having a whole network of digital watchdogs.
Yeah.
Constantly monitoring the AI ecosystem for signs of trouble.
Okay. That's amazing and also slightly terrifying.
It is a fascinating concept.
Yeah, but wouldn't that just lead to a ton of useless reports?
Yeah, it's a valid point.
People freak out over the smallest things,
Yeah.
Imagine the panic if your AI assistant accidentally ordered cat food instead of dog food or something.
Right.
It's would that be a reportable incident?
One of the sources acknowledges the potential for a flood of reports, some of which might be false alarms or irrelevant.
Right.
So they emphasize the need for sophisticated filtering mechanisms.
So we need AI to help us manage all the reports about AI.
It's getting a bit meta, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
But using AI to analyze incident data, identify patterns, prioritize the most urgent reports could be incredibly valuable. It's about separating the signal from the noise, focusing on the issues that truly matter.
All right, so we've got a way to track these mishaps and learn from them.
Yes.
But what about actually, undoing the damage?
That's where the rollback mechanisms come in.
Right.
Rollback mechanisms provide a way to reverse actions taken by AI agents.
Right.
Essentially hitting the undo button to mitigate the consequences of a bad decision.
So if my AI accidentally sells all my stocks, I can just hit undo and everything goes back to normal.
It would be great if it were that simple.
Yeah.
But the research acknowledges that rollback mechanisms aren't a magic solution for every situation.
Right.
Some actions, especially those that involve physical harm, irreparable damage, can't be easily undone.
You can't uncrash a self-driving car.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But for most digital actions, it seems like rollbacks could be a game changer.
Right.
If an AI spreads some kind of misinformation online, You could use a rollback to like retract that before it goes viral or something.
Exactly. One source even suggests the possibility of restoring a system to a previous state,
Oh, wow.
like a digital time machine
Yeah.
that can rewind an AI's actions before things went wrong.
But that seems like it would get really complicated really
It
fast.
does.
Yeah, like what if the AI made a bunch of trades and then you roll them back? Do all the people who benefited from those trades just like suddenly lose all their money?
It raises all sorts of really complex questions about fairness,
Yeah.
liability, and who gets to decide when a rollback is justified.
Right.
One source argues that we might need government intervention
Oh, wow.
to mandate rollback mechanisms in certain situations.
So even though we're talking about AI, we still need good old-fashioned human laws and regulations.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
AI might be changing the game, but the fundamental principles of accountability
Right.
and responsibility still apply.
Okay, so I think I'm starting to get the big picture here. Agent infrastructure isn't just about making AI smarter
Right.
or more capable.
It's about control.
Yeah, it's about making sure that AI is a tool
Right.
that serves us
Yeah.
and not the other way around.
You got it. And that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating. We're
Yeah.
not just talking about lines of code. We're
Wow.
talking about shaking the future
Right.
of how humans and AI interact, collaborate, and coexist.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's a little bit scary.
Yeah,
It's definitely something we all need to be thinking about.
absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the world of AI agent infrastructure.
My pleasure.
It's been a really fascinating conversation.
Yes, it has.
And to all our listeners out there, stay curious, stay engaged,
Informed.
and stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of AI.